that was the one thing that really began to collapse my belief in the institutions. And that began a domino effect. Excuse
Oh,
me.
you dropped something.
My mic dropped. Yeah,
The
that
mic
that
dropped.
began that began a domino effect that really started everything. I had some really crazy spiritual experiences as well, and in the couple weeks leading up to joining the group, and without those experiences, I would have never joined the group. But when they happened, I felt like I was actually being guided in that direction, and just the way it all unfolded, it felt like that was the direction I had to go in joining the team. And 10 years later, despite everything that happened, I'm actually glad I did join because I learned so much. I grew so much from it. I didn't find the growth I was looking for, at least not in the way that I expected.
Well, man, I'm glad that you did, but it does sound funny hearing from like so. I went to this cult where the crazy chick thought she was God and end up mummified around like Christmas lights, and I'm glad I went through it. I'm glad. It sounds funny, but I'm glad. I know my toughest moments in my personal life. That's what taught me the biggest lesson. So I understand where you
Sure,
come from,
sure,
but
sure. That's so true. You know, the difficult moments give us the most opportunity. As far as
yeah.
the term I use, the word is catalyst. They
Yeah.
can be a catalyst for our growth, and as long as you're willing to learn from your mistakes, you know, you can turn all of the bad situations into something good.
Yeah.
And 10 years later, that's what I've essentially done, and that's how I feel looking back at it.
Yeah, but I mean, she had a hell lot of a good strategy because when you say to someone, "I do have the answers of all the
Yeah.
conspiracy," like there's something in my brain that starts tickling. You know, what do you mean you know the truth about 9/11? I want to know. Like, do
Yeah.
you know the
Yeah.
truth about the alien bases on the North Pole built by
Yeah.
Nazis? Like, I want to know if this is true or not because why wouldn't it be? Like, it's too boring. I want it to be true. Tell me, Amy, tell me. So,
I agree. I agree.
so that's how she would lure people.
Yeah, the conspiracy theories played a big role. I have to give her credit. I mean, look, nobody follows a dum dum, right? She was very intelligent. She was a good leader. She had natural leadership qualities, and you know these all played a role in making people want to follow her. As far as spirituality goes, she was very well read. She was far more spiritually adept at the time than I was, and she was somebody that I looked up to, that I felt I could learn a lot from. I was in a place where I was essentially focused on dissolving or at least minimizing my ego in order to be the person that I always knew I was capable of being, but I just couldn't get out of my own way. I was overcome in moments by my emotions, you know, anger. I had jealousy issues. You know, I was quick to get angry, and I knew this wasn't the person I wanted to be. And she had promised me or told me and clearly knew a lot of good ways in order to, you know, in a spiritual sense, to, you know, look at your baggage, to use meditation, to find out these things and help you work through them. And she was very, very good at that. She was very good at helping you spot your issues and work through them, explain them. The problem was the belief in the mother god thing. It began infecting everything she did. There were so many times I told her, Amy, or I couldn't call her Amy because to her, if you called her Amy, that was like you were dissing her, right? I called her MG. It was almost like a screen name. So I called her MG, and for Mother God, I used to say to her, you know, you don't need to be God to do this amazing work. I think you're brilliant. I think you're super intelligent. But I mean, clearly, there's so many reasons you've given me that I can show you that you are not perfect. You're not God, but we can still do great work and we can still help people, but you don't need the titles to do that. And I had her a couple times and I thought she was going to snap out of it, but She wanted that spotlight and she wanted that title. She had her own issues that she didn't want to deal with, things that she wouldn't talk about, but it was very clear that she had a lot of unresolved emotional trauma, especially through the drinking, the alcoholism, which eventually led to her death. You could see when she got really drunk that she would tell stories and go from crying to angry to happy to sad. And you can see she would start to tell a story and then she'd stop and change the subject because she came close to telling you things that she wasn't ready to look at. And it became clear to me that she used this mother god persona to really hide from who she really was because she didn't want to face who she was and what she had been through. And some of it was difficult. And I know a couple stories, but it was clear that she had a lot of unresolved trauma. And that's where this whole mother god persona came from, because it made her feel like she could be the perfect person, the powerful person she knew she was capable of being, except it was kind of like a shortcut she took to get there, even though it was fake, instead of dealing with her issues and getting there the correct way.
I mean, a lot of girls, they do that, right? They face mental health issues, and instead of, well, dealing with them in the healthy manner, which would be addressing them directly in therapy, or, I mean, there are other ways, of course, but that's the most commonly and usually universally accepted. They just retreat even more in this fantasy world, which, well, it's soothing. It's soothing. It's understandable why someone would do that, but you're not really fixing anything. You're just hiding and avoiding the work that needs to be done. Eventually, this would manifest in other ways of your life, anxiety disorder, or, well, you name it. It can be anything. We had a guest the other day here on the podcast. She also had passed through some traumatic experiences throughout her life, and and she never faced them head on, right? She decided to avoid,
Right.
to ignore, and she reached a point in her life. I'm not joking, and she started hallucinating and feeling like bugs crawling in her back. That's how much burden and mental stress she was trying to avoid. Like,
Yeah.
and well, in your case with Amy, she became mother god. So may I ask how you guys met? You said you got a notification.
Yeah, so the way we met was, at first, I was in this place where I was doing a lot of searching online, conspiracy theories, which I eventually realized were hollow in the sense whether I knew them to be true or not. They were all dead ends because what can I do about it, right? Okay, 9/11, the official narrative is not true. I believe that to this day. I don't talk about these things very often, but knowing that, okay, now what can I do about it? Absolutely nothing. So I realized that was a dead end, and that led me to spirituality. And that's where I was like, okay, this is